Thank you for joining us on this very special True Talk. This is our intergenerational True Talk with the two dual suns in my solar system. Welcome, coming to the room. We're glad to have everyone. There's Melody and Vicky join us. Welcome, welcome. So again, this is a intergenerational true talk, which I call before TikTok and after Burnett. So you'll kind of understand why as we get into the conversation. These two dual suns of my solar system are my son and my daughter. Yay! I'm so excited. So excited to have them. So I'm gonna ask them to introduce themselves. You guys know me. I'm Netta Faye with True Talk. If you hadn't joined the society, join it now. Hey Jackie, thanks for joining us. So I'm gonna ask them to introduce themselves before we get into this chat. Jay, you're the oldest. You go first.
Yeah, I can go first.
Maybe talk about your many names because they'll hear me say Jay
Right.
on here.
Jay, Juberly, uh, um, what else?
Jupiter, Jude,
Jupiter. Yeah. So many different aliases, but yeah,
but one
that's
person.
that's some of them. One person. And
Many aliases. All right,
yeah.
tell people about yourself because it's okay to
Uh,
brag. We don't count it arrogance to talk the truth of yourself. So
oh, I'm a writer, producer. Yep.
really, okay.
Mhm.
You could say more. You definitely could say
you
more.
you gonna make me do this?
I'm a
You-
5-time Grammy nominated songwriter and
yeah.
producer
Mm-hmm.
and pro Fortnite player.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. And how many Grammys you have? Is that two?
I
Did
have
you
two
win?
Grammys.
Did you win both of them?
I did win both of them, and I'm
Yeah.
nominated for three. So,
Yes. Yep. Yep. So in a
and
couple of weeks, and Vicky says, "Woohoo!" Uh, in about a week or so, we'll know whether you get your third, fourth, and fifth Grammys. And being the manifester that you are, we know it'll be three.
oh, thank you. Yeah, I think so. I hope so.
Mm-hmm. Good, good, good. Well, Simka, since your brother's being kind of modest, you
Talk
can
your
go.
talk, twin.
Um, Hi, I'm Simka. I'm a college student. I'm a rising junior. I'm majoring in psychology, and I'm working towards getting my RBT certification. That's working with kids with autism. And after undergrad, I want to get my master's and then my doctorates.
Okay, yes.
Mhm.
Yes. This is why these are my dual sons. They're doing their thing uh that they want to be. Hi Eva, thanks for joining us. So today we want to talk about listening and wisdom. And when I was growing up, wisdom was not optimized for social media success. It wasn't optimized for viral post or anything like that. It was optimized for survival and for character building and for creating a life that could sustain you long term. Um, we grew up, my generation, before algorithms told us who to be and what to say and where to say it. But your guys' generation, Gen Zers and close generations close to that, are growing up inside of these technologies and the digital influences and being able to hear from people simply because they have a social media account. So, we want to talk about how your generation listens and what that could mean to generations ahead of you or behind you. So, one of the things I wanted to start with, and all of you guys listening, oh, Jackie says, congratulations to those. Um, Please chime in because the intergenerational is just not myself and my children, but it's all of us and reflecting where we are in this journey of life. So, Jay and Baruch, growing up in the house when you were 5, 6, 7, 8, how did wisdom show up there?
Hmm.
What did
For
it look like? What did it look like?
It's a good question. Brooke, you wanna
Um, I would say you taught us a lot of good things in life and how to carry yourself. So I think like you never steered us wrong. You always wanted the best for us. I believe and I still believe that. So that kind of helped build a foundation for us like getting older, high school and being young adults and adults. I think it's just instilled with us and I think you did a great job raising us, and I think your generation, like your parents' generation, how they raised you and taught you played a part in how you taught us. um, I feel like sometimes I'm really like I feel blessed to have an older parent,
Mhm.
compared to my generation. So I feel like certain things. I mean, you
Mhm.
were a parent first and
Mhm.
a friend second. Like I feel like this generation, at least in my generation, their parents are more their friends than they are their parents.
Mm, mm,
So it's kinda like they be trying to be friends with them, and they
mhm,
be like they don't really instill anything into them, you know? You know what I'm
mm,
saying?
mhm,
I don't know if I
mhm.
explained that correctly.
Okay, okay. Hi, Reverend E. Thanks for joining us. And I want everybody listening to this to know I am not paying them to say anything. There are no there
Mm-mm.
are no bribes going on or anything. This wasn't a say good things about mom kind of session. So don't get any of those vibes. But I will make this caveat to what Simca, sometime you'll hear us call her Baruch. Um, Said because I am one of those late blooming parents. Um, so technically, there's a generation between uh, Jay and Simca and myself. Um, when I when Jay was born in April, he was born in April of his birth year. That February before the April, I turned 40, and he came, naturally. I guess you could call it naturally. It wasn't the best delivery. But my point is that there's a really technically a generation between us because I had my children what people would call late. But for me, it was perfect timing. And it was beautiful. These two are one of the best things I've ever done in my whole life. But so a lot of times when they compare me and the parents of their friends, they're 20 years younger than I am. That's in age, that's not in mind or spirit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, and it's a beautiful thing. So, okay, so Jay, I don't know, how did you see wisdom or teaching show up in the house?
I think when I was younger, I didn't notice that that was what it was. Like, I think we used to have, like, the Saturday discussions and stuff like that,
Mhm,
and even just the way that you would talk to us and, like, drop little gems, like, you would do it
Mhm.
so subtly that it's like it feels like we're just having a conversation, but we're actually, like, learning stuff, you know?
mhm,
So
mhm. Um, you guys were in a lot of activities like a lot of your peers, school and, church for a hot minute.
mhm.
And at least, yeah, church for a hot minute and community things like that. What lessons did you learn through observation versus explanation? Um, Many times that is how learning and wisdom comes, not by words that we hear, but by examples that we see. So when a lot of times I've heard it often, parents will say, "Do as I say, not as I do." Well, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
We're gonna do what you do. So, what things, if you can remember any, that you learned through observation rather than explanation?
Hmm. I feel like being in our house, like, Baruch could probably say the same thing. Being in our house taught us, like, what to believe and what not to believe, or, like, who to, like, actually listen to, like, how to have good discernment.
Mhm.
Because like,
Mm,
anybody can tell you something, like, anybody can tell you to, like, not follow your dreams or not do what you wanna do with your life, but it's up to you to, like, know who to listen to. Like
mm, mm,
you
mhm,
know when somebody's telling you something that you shouldn't believe or something that you
Mhm.
shouldn't do because you got good
mm,
discernment. But a lot of
mm.
people don't have good discernment,
Yeah,
so it
yeah.
gets tricky.
That's a good point, and hopefully this discussion, what we're going to see coming out in the book of Burnett, will help with that discernment and that decision making. That transmission uh, will come about on the 31st of January as a lived wisdom source. It is, I think, is one of those by observation, not so much explanation, because it was observed first and documented later. Um, how Okay, does wisdom kind of weave? Let's shift it to how you're getting it now, with your, this TikTok generation. I grew up before TikTok. You guys are growing up after Burnett.
Mhm.
So different kind of energy between those two things. And I want to shift the conversation to kind of how wisdom weaves itself into your guys' life when it's so digital forward. You know, the phones that we have, the connections to the social media is very prevalent uh in really life today, but more so in people who are growing up in it. So where do you guys actually kind of encounter wisdom now that you're out of the house? Basically, where are you encountering wisdom now? Let's just see. Vicky asked something. Welcome those who have come. What did she say? Uh, do their peers with friends, parents actually listen to them or seek counsel from older role models? So, do your peers with friends, parents, friend parents?
Mhm.
You had mentioned a lot of times they're friends before parents. Um, do they actually listen to them, the friend parent, or they seek kind of counsel from older models, outside models who may appear more parent first, friends later?
Um,
Mhm.
I would say I feel like they listen to them to an extent. I feel like peers listen to their friends' parents to an extent. Um, I don't I wouldn't say they don't listen to older role models, but I think they probably would listen to somebody their age, like their friends.
Mm,
Um, and maybe it's, you know, like being hard headed, maybe because they
mm,
choose not to listen to the older generation because they feel like, oh, you don't really know what I'm going through and this and this and that. And it's like that's not
mm,
the case. Um, so I would say it depends sometimes because I know a couple people who they're best friends with their parents, but, they follow, what their parent is talking about, follow everything that their parent has taught them, and there's some that they just close their ears and they don't really care to listen to anybody, you know?
mhm, mhm. And you raised a good point that I'm gonna ask about later, the views between the older and younger generation, but we'll get to that later. So, where do you guys usually encounter some wisdom, and how do you decide what's worth listening to?
Hmm. Can you repeat that question one more time?
Because you're listening, aren't you? Jew for a Jew.
Mm,
Yeah, so I'm thinking with so many um avenues open to you for information, knowledge, and we know some of that is healthy, sometimes it's unhealthy.
mhm.
Where are you actually seeing wisdom coming out, and how do you know what you're hearing is worth listening to? right? Because a lot of your generation are social media first points. Something comes up, you're gonna go on social media to find out more information about it, or you wake up and check in with social media to kind of get the pulse of the day.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And a lot of times that's a lot of random information. It's a lot coming from a lot of different places, from a lot of different experience, and checks and balances, even and especially in those spaces, take time to discern,
Mhm.
Mhm.
right? Building trust takes times. Hey, Raina, she says residence. Yeah. How do you know that when you're going out there? As my generation would say, there are wolves in sheep's clothing
Mhm.
looking to deceive people
Yeah.
in your email box. Your generation, where are you guys finding wisdom, and how are you discerning what to listen to?
I would say being like maybe when I was younger, it was hard to like know what was good and what was bad or not something that might not align with yourself, but I think it's just like what you were taught. You know, what do you believe in? What are you what do you want for yourself? And then
Mhm,
growing up, you need to like you eventually realize, hey, like this TikTok account or this Instagram account, it doesn't align with me, or this like I'm gonna say the shade room because I know growing up, like a lot, especially in like the people of color community or the
mhm,
Black community, the shade room is something that's always popping.
mhm,
Once I got to middle school, I was like, this is not something I want to see. I don't want to see my people tearing each other down. Plus, it's like unnecessary drama.
mm,
I think it's like what aligns with you. What do you want to see? And
mhm,
you're also inputting so much stuff into your head. Like going on social media and looking at all the negative stuff is gonna make you negative, or it's gonna make you think negatively of yourself.
mhm,
Um, it just with me, it's just what aligns with me, what I want for myself.
mhm,
And it does take time to get to that point.
mhm,
You know, you'll live and you learn. You realize this is not for me or this might be for me, and trial
mhm,
and error. Um, but I would say I don't really look up to anybody who's a celebrity because we are our own people. You know,
mhm,
they have their
mhm,
own life. Whatever they're doing, it's not going to be the same for you. You just need to
mhm,
find something or somebody or religion maybe to help you and realize what you want to see and what you want in your life.
mhm,
That's what I would
mhm.
say.
Jay, what about you? Particularly coming from the music industry, and you encounter different people with different agendas and different backgrounds, different motivations. Um, you've told me many times, especially when you were first starting out, you would go to studio. You would be the youngest in the studio. You would be
Mhm.
in a room full of people, I don't know, 5 years or so older than you, 10 years older than you. They were all millionaires. So that influence to me would require a lot of discernment to say, how much of this do I listen to? Is this the right thing to hear?
Mhm.
Et cetera, et
Yeah.
cetera. How are you with encountering wisdom even in your line of work and understanding whether it's worth listening to or not?
That's a great question because in music, like, I would say it's some people's I don't wanna say it's their job, but, like, it almost feels like their job is to, like, sell you something, like, sell you a dream and, like, talk to you about something that sounds, like, way too good to be true,
Mm.
and it can be difficult to kinda know, like, is this dude, like, playing or lady, dude or lady, any
Mhm.
gender could be doing this,
Mhm. Yeah,
but,
yeah, yeah.
um, yeah, it was definitely tricky, especially since, like, you know, we were doing music when I was, like, young. Like, I was producing and, like, in management contracts and, like, around a bunch of people when I was, like, 14, 15.
Mhm.
So, I think I kinda learned quickly to kinda just trust my gut, and I think, like, I've signed, like, a terrible deal before, like, I
Mhm.
made bad decisions, but I think, we learn from stuff like that. and then you
Mhm.
just gotta listen to your gut.
Mhm.
Anytime something went wrong in music,
Mhm. Mhm.
whether it be, like, signing a bad deal or, like, working with people that I shouldn't work with, it's like your gut tells you first. Like, before
Mhm.
any bad decision, my gut was kinda like, "I don't know about that," you know?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I don't know if that's just, like, how I was raised or the stuff that I learned or anything, but you just gotta trust your gut. I think your gut is the best way of knowing, like, if this is something you should do with your life or something you
Mhm.
need to run away from. 'Cause, you know
Yeah. Well, that is a good point of listening, which is what we're talking about, because you we hear a lot of things. Every day you hear a lot of things. You might read a lot of things. Many thoughts come about, but how you listen, what you listen to, and how you interpret that matters in what you do next in your next day. Thanks,
Mhm.
Jackie. They're saying they think I raised you guys well.
You
I
did,
would say so.
There's
definitely. Yeah.
definitely been some back and forth going on here between, myself and them. I'm learning a lot from them, which is a benefit and a plus for waiting late, quote, to have children, because you get to learn a lot from them too. Um, so let's keep going. Because some of what stood out for me and what you both said were having filters in the many things that might be coming at you, right? Or come to you. And it's not wrong for things to come to you, even thoughts in your head. The things is, what do you let live there and what do you gently escort out? What filters are you using for that? So, one of the things that I'm loving about what's coming out with the book of Burnett, because I see what my dad, what your granddad lived and left as a filter, um, not a replacement for things that might be coming around or what you want to do. Is not telling you what to do, but I think it's an excellent filter to help you get where you want to go. We know that the algorithms and social media, they reward activity, and they reward maybe even boldness for putting crap out there. Well, not crap. I'm not going to say that. Putting stuff out there and seeing what comes out. But elders, they earn credibility, right? We're looking at the parents. We're looking at the community leaders. We're looking at even social platform content creators to see how credible is this, and is this person able to earn my trust? Is it credible? So when I think about your grandfather, Reverend B.S. Jackson, and the B is for Burnett, thus the
Mhm.
book of Burnett, I think about how wisdom traveled through a person, not a platform. So let's talk about what makes a vessel trustworthy. There are millions of people on these social platforms. Each platform has millions of people. That's a lot to discern. And what defines someone as credible and trustworthy for you?
You
Who
wanna
wants
go?
to go? You
You
I
go if you
go?
want to.
Um, that's a really good question. I feel like even me, like, I know I'm, like, not much older than Baruch, but I do feel more, like, more traditional. Even when I don't really have TikTok,
Mm.
I got Instagram and I'm not gonna lie, I be on Instagram for hours, be scrolling. But the content that I watch on Instagram is more, like, humorous. Like, I think a lot of my information is, like, person to person. I feel like I need more of a relationship or somebody that I can actually talk to for
Mm.
me to, like, get information. But there's a lot of great digital information, especially now. There's so many people sharing it, and it is kinda hard to feel like, "Can I trust this dude?" But then it's back to the gut feeling. It's like, you
Mhm.
can kinda you can see people's energy through a screen, but, I feel like unless you really know them, you don't know for sure.
Mhm.
But, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I've like, just, like, music information, people that are in our industry.
Mhm.
There's a lot of cool people that I know personally that I just, like, I'll follow their content just because, like, I know them in real life. So, I
Mhm.
kinda can attest to their character and, like,
Mhm.
our personalities kind of are similar. So,
Yeah.
I don't know if I can talk about somebody that I don't know for real
Mhm.
on, the internet and stuff like that. There's some people that I follow, but honestly, it's tough because you don't
Mhm.
really know somebody, and it's easy for somebody to portray themselves as one thing and then, like, even have another agenda behind what they're talking
Mhm.
about. So,
Mhm.
it gets a little dicey.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. I think Raina had posted earlier clickbait because a lot of times that's what these accounts will do.
Mhm.
That happens in real life. It's just magnified to a high degree on social media because you can be behind a screen. You
Mhm.
can you can put any picture up. Yeah.
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 What about you, Simple Pooh?
Um, the question was like how someone could be a trustworthy vessel, correct?
Yeah, what do you look for, I guess, in building credibility with getting some of this information on social media? And it doesn't have to be social media platforms. It can be just people
Mhm.
you start to meet and establishing some type of rapport with. Filters are kind of
Mhm.
needed to determine trustworthiness.
I would say um off of social media, like even when my interactions with people, because I take Ubers or Lyfts back and forth from like work and school, so I meet a lot of older people, but they have good wisdom. I've had a few encounters with a lot of people. Some guy he believed in the Hebrew Bible, and we were talking about God and everything like that. I think how someone could be a vessel, trustworthy vessel. Again, the alignment. Um, I feel like if they're something positive, if they are either like they're giving you an impact, they're impacting your life or other people's life, and they're spewing positivity out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just someone who has a loving and caring heart, and you could see that without them. You don't have to do anything to get that from them. They just want to be a kind person to you, um,
Mm-hmm.
and very impactful. I think that could be a good way for me, at least for me, to see someone could be a trustworthy vessel for wisdom. Um,
Mm-hmm.
they're just always just great energy, like Jay said. Like you could just
Mm-hmm.
kind of tell, even through a
Mm-hmm.
screen. On I mean, I don't really use I use Instagram, but I don't really scroll on there. But TikTok, like if I scroll, like I just it's like you can just kind of tell, and if someone's giving out positive energy, I feel like
Yeah.
that's another thing.
Yeah.
You just kind of tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. So here's a little area that you guys experience that I think my generation does very little of, some but little, is dating from social media or making connections that are toward to date somebody.
Mhm.
So a lot of your generation say, "Oh, I'm dating somebody. Oh, where you meet them? On social media, on Instagram, and I'm thinking, how does that
Mhm.
work?
Mhm.
So there has to be, hellified filters for those types of relationships to be established, and it may be because my generation, that's almost kind of foreign, but your generation is not.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So, okay, here's Jackie said, "I'm 35 now, and I don't be doing that."
Mhm.
I know it's like, yeah, that takes, like I said, hellified filters
Mhm.
for that. I don't know if you guys want to share one of the hellified filters you might use to do that?
Brooke,
Now, when you mean by
um,
that, like, you what do you mean? Like,
Somebody slides into your DM like, "Oh, your picture's cute. Oh,
mhm,
I want to, what's your name?" And start whatever, and you're thinking, my response is, "I don't know you."
mhm. Well, I feel like y'all just casual, just giggling. Um, I
Hey,
just I would say because social media, you can find anything. Um, you know, people are gonna post whatever they want to show, even if it's real or fake. Um, but you just again like alignment. Like if someone is posting something that you align with, okay, you're
mhm,
gonna, hey, maybe I'll get to know this person. Ask little questions here and there, and then from then on, like it's just like you just kind of know them or not know them. You don't obviously don't know them, but I'm saying
mhm,
you can get to know them.
mhm,
A lot of people can show themselves being great people on social media, or they could show the lifestyle that you do not align
mhm.
with. So if you don't align with that, you're gonna ignore them.
Okay,
I mean, I hope
okay,
so. I hope you're not
okay,
entertaining anybody that doesn't align with you, but
okay, okay,
it does
okay.
take time, but I can understand the older generation, like, being like, "Whoa, I don't know you. Let's not do that." But then it's kinda like, I feel like in our generation, everybody's always behind a screen, so it's a lot more difficult trying to connect with somebody in person.
Mm,
I don't think we have because, you know, growing up watching like black love stories or love movies, it's always a friend of a friend putting somebody together. Like I don't think we have that. At least not for me.
mm,
I haven't seen a lot of,
mm,
oh, let me meet you my I want you to meet my friend and see how this goes and it might go
mhm,
well. We don't I'm not gonna say we don't do that. It's just not
mhm,
a common thing because everybody always wants to see each other through a screen. So it's
mm,
connections is not the same. So it's kinda like you kinda have to go through social media. And it's kinda
mhm.
rare to I mean, I'm not gonna say you can't be friends and that works out, but it's
Yeah,
kinda rare for somebody to be like, "Hey, meet my friend or meet this," and you know? So,
yeah. Yep, yep, yep. I get that.
yeah.
Um, but Sabrina said, absolutely, you have to trust yourself first.
Mhm.
Less open to the BS.
mhm,
Yeah.
That's a good point. Because if you
Yeah.
don't know who you are, where you're going, what you're looking for,
Mhm.
what aligns with you, then you'll get thrown by anything that comes
Yeah.
along. Yep.
Yeah.
mhm,
Yep. And our generation say everything shining ain't gold.
Mhm.
That's what we mean by that. Jackie says that's true. We don't play matchmaker anymore.
Yeah.
Hmm,
Or
that's interesting.
if
Jackie, that might be something good for the picnic, the family reunion.
mhm.
Do some matchmaking. So, yeah, that's a good point. Those are all good points. And I know with you guys, you've done it long enough to know at some point when you're making those connections, you got to ask for name, rank, serial number, driver's license,
dri
car
last name,
tag.
first name, where you from? Because 'cause I'm telling you, you could find somebody on Facebook, you could find their family, first name and last name,
You can
social
find
media,
everything
internet.
about somebody.
You can.
Mm,
It's the
Yeah.
palm of your hand, like,
yeah,
so that
But
I
the
think
worst
that kinda
thing
helps a little bit.
what'd you say,
yeah,
Brooke? My bad.
Like, finding first name, last name, and, like, kinda looking somebody up can help you, like, know at least safety wise to an
yes,
extent, obviously, because some people put a
yeah.
mask on for a couple months, and then after it's like, "Whoa, you're a totally different person." So,
Yeah, 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 yep,
Yeah.
that can happen, that can happen. So, a little bit about the vessel Poppy. Um, what do you guys remember about his sharing things to you? Is there any particular one thing that sticks out, uh, with with him being a vessel for wisdom? Something you could trust, not just because of the relation with him, but maybe something else that says, "Hey, I can trust this."
um,
Mm.
Jay, you wanna go or
I can go, yeah. Um, I think my grandfather was one of the most influential people in my life.
Mm,
Um, there was something about the way that he would speak to you, and he made you feel like you could do anything. And I feel like that's a quality that I'd like to look for in people that I surround myself with. Because anytime he would talk to me and he would give me wisdom, and me not even really understanding like the gems I was getting from him,
mm,
I think one of the most important things anybody can know is to believe in themselves, even though it sounds like it's like the corniest thing ever. It's the corniest thing that you could ever say. But the way he would like instill that in all of us, I think, you know,
mhm,
when a lot of people, especially when I was like growing up, like, the stuff that I wanted to do with my life,
mhm,
didn't seem achievable or tangible. But
mhm,
whenever I would talk to him about it, he was like, "That's what you need to do." Like,
mhm,
he didn't say anything else. That was the only thing that he did.
mhm,
And I think the way that he said it just resonated with me so strongly. And like, you know, I don't know. I think the way that he was, the energy that he had, the way that he talked to anybody, like even if you just watched him talk to somebody else and see the like effect that he had, like this was just a powerful but like loving person. Like the way
mhm,
that he had love for everybody around him, it was just like I didn't,
mhm,
I grew up trusting a lot of people in my family, but when I really got to have a better relationship, like as I was growing up, knowing my grandfather, it was just like you understood that the people that you could trust had to be like him. I think
mhm,
having role models like him was like the
mhm,
most important thing in my life because
mhm,
that was the bar, you know,
mhm,
and
mhm,
that was such a great bar. So it was like, you know, I think
mhm,
that's where a lot of my discernment came from because it's like if I don't feel like even a smidgen of how I feel talking to him, I don't really know, you know?
mhm, mhm.
I don't really
Yeah.
know.
Yep, yep, yep. Um, yeah, that brings up a lot of things when you say that, how he was in the generation of get an education, get a job, stay on the job 30 years, retire, do something good and go. That was just a pattern and it was safe and secure. You could stand on that. But when he entertained other ideas that we would put before him, like what you say, you do music, you were drumming at his church, when you were, I don't know, 12, 13, whatever.
Mhm.
He supported that too, even though it was different from the kind of pattern he had laid down. But he was open to say, "Hey, yeah, go ahead and do that. You want to do that? Go ahead and do that." When I went to him and say, "I want to quit my job and start this magazine," he's like, "Oh, okay, well, you thought about it, you've done it, you whatever. Okay, go do it. You can always go get a job later."
Mhm.
And that struck me like, "What? Are you saying that?" Because I was really nervous to
Mhm.
to to bring that to him when I had got the education, got the job, and now I'm telling you I'm gonna quit my job. I thought he was gonna like, "You're crazy," but he's like, "Oh, you thought about it? You done it? You wanna do it? Okay, go ahead and do it. You can always go get a job." What about you, Simka?
Um, just like adding on to what y'all said, I feel like he showed he was like very family orientated, yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, I feel like that played a part, or it helped with me at least. I feel like
Mhm.
family is very important. He very much showed that in so many ways. And his
Mhm.
community, he showed that community was also very important. Who you put around yourself
Mhm.
plays a part in you being yourself, or who you align with,
Mhm.
and what you want for yourself. So I would say that.
Mhm. Yep, yep, yep. And I brought that up to just say again, it matters the vessel you're pulling from. And there are so many before us now that we can pull from. You have to have those filters, use that discernment to know, is this vessel for me? And it's great when you can find one, as Jay said, that align, that gives you that feeling, and everybody lift everyone up. But then you got to know, oh yeah, this is not for me. Pass that by and keep it moving. All right, now switching again to these generational dynamics. So I want to ask you guys about your thoughts about generations ahead of you, the interactions of the two and how that works. So, what do older generations misunderstand about your generation? When we're talking about communication, interactions, you know, creating the lives we want to live, being the person we want to be. What are some misunderstandings between the two? What do older generations misunderstand about
Hmm.
Gen Zers and
Mm.
adjacent generations?
Hmm.
Mm.
Hmm.
I don't know because I feel like we have gotten better. I think that line between the older generation and our generation, I feel like we both have worked together a little
Mhm.
more.
Mhm.
Um I don't I'm not gonna say I don't know. I can't really think of anything that y'all have said. But maybe because we were raised a little more older, so it's kinda like I
Mhm.
see what y'all are talking about, but at the
Mhm.
same time, like I can't really see the difference. I don't know.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay.
I feel like we've just done a lot better. Like, I feel like y'all see the perspectives of what we are going through,
Mhm.
and I feel like we've worked on seeing the perspective y'all were talking about. I
Mhm.
feel like we've done a better job than what it was maybe a couple of years ago in my opinion.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
Any thoughts, Jay, on that?
I think, there is gonna be a gap just because, y'all's generation, technology and stuff like that. I think my generation, our brains are just a little cooked because we be on the phone all the time. And, sometimes the attention span isn't all the way there. So it can kind of just be like, miscommunications. But at the same time, it's like, my hairline's starting to push back a little bit. I'm getting a little bit older.
Stop
So
it.
now that I'm getting older, I'm like, they weren't tripping when they were telling me something, they weren't trying to like get on me.
Yeah.
They're
Mhm.
trying to like warn me.
Mhm.
So, the older that I'm getting, like we all kind of mesh and meld together. And, I don't think
Mhm.
me and Brooke have really experienced a real generational difference just because we weren't really raised like the people that are in
Yeah.
our generation. So,
Mhm.
like, I think me and Brooke have been old souls, or not old
Mhm.
souls, but,
Mhm.
maturer souls.
Yeah.
Mhm. I
Because,
got you.
we weren't listening to, like, the music that our friends was listening to. Like, I didn't know who Drake was until, like, after middle school. Like, I didn't know Drake even existed. Like, I
Yeah.
was listening to, like, Earth, Wind& and Fire and, like,
Mhm.
Mhm.
Isley Brothers. So, you know
That's a good point. Yeah, yeah. We have to bring in some of your peers and ask
Yeah.
some of those questions to get something a little bit different.
Yeah.
And I think Jackie made a good point too. Makes a huge difference when you have parents who are doing the healing work too. Yeah,
Mhm.
that makes a very big
Mhm.
difference. Um, because I know with me, my healing and going through some of the things I went through have made me much more pliable to see other people's points and to allow them to be their true selves because it's their journey, their feet on the ground, their lives they want to live. Where before the healing, I was a Bible thumping judgmental
Mm. That's right.
type of a person. And
Mhm.
and that comes from, when there is pain or when there are things that need to heal. Um Man, we could go on and on and on with some of these things for real, 'cause some of the questions I have for you guys. Um but um yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought with that one
No, yeah.
Could
because
I?
you're
That's a great point though, because I think that's another thing that is a difference because, the more time that we have and the more time that we're on this earth, we kind of stray from tradition. And sometimes, like tradition can be a really good thing, but also if it's tradition that's rooted in something that doesn't align, then it's kind of like, you don't want to have a tradition of trauma, you don't
Yeah.
want to like go through with things that, you know,
Yeah.
aren't going to be good for your mental, you don't want to be stressed out. Like,
Yeah.
that's where I think the barriers need to be broken between the generations, because it's like there's traditions that are good, and then there's also stuff that we don't want to pass down.
Mhm.
Like, I
Yes.
feel like with you stopped a lot of bad stuff going to me and Baruch. And,
Yeah.
me and Brooke
Yep.
gonna have kids. We don't wanna, like, keep on pushing something that we
Right.
don't want
Yeah.
for the
Right.
culture,
Right, right,
So I'm glad you
right,
brought that up.
right. We don't wanna carry we don't wanna carry for trauma, which is why somebody healing is so important.
Mhm.
Stopping to look within, to heal, and to, embrace things that maybe once we did not embrace is, so important. Yeah, I
Could I
love that.
add something?
Absolutely.
I would say that the difference sometimes in how you raised us, you let us have a voice. You told us a lot of things, a lot of informational things, a lot of things that maybe a lot of parents wouldn't tell their kids, but you gave us a space to say what we need to say sometimes. I feel like when we got a little older, maybe like,
Mhm,
at least maybe I hit middle school or Jay hit middle school, I think you let us in a lot of information, a lot of moments, and that and then you let us have a voice. I think that helps play a
mhm,
part because sometimes a lot of parents be like, okay, like you said earlier, well, you said something similar to this, but it's like you're the child, I'm the parent, you need to listen to me. And it's like, yes, but
mhm,
when you're disciplining a child, like the child can only know so much that you're telling them.
mhm,
Like I think we've had a couple conversations. It's like you're telling the child to stop this, but you're not explaining like why they need to stop.
mhm,
Um, and then it's like
mhm,
them telling you how you let us tell you how we felt in certain moments.
mhm.
I think that helped play a part too.
Mhm, mhm, and a lot of that too is my healing from the things that I didn't get. Wonderful parents, but definitely it was the traditional, you know, don't ask questions.
Mhm.
Man, don't ask questions.
Mhm.
And yeah, don't ask questions. And also there were taboo topics that pertain to life. So I did make a decision early on to say, I want to be able to talk to you guys about anything.
Mhm.
Anything, everything, I don't care what it is, we're gonna talk about it. Now sometimes I would be squeezing my gluteus maximus when we were having these conversations, but I did it anyway because I did not want you to have to go somewhere to learn about sex or whatever,
Mhm.
things that my parents were not as comfortable to talk about. So, yeah. All right. So, in wrapping this up, this is such a great conversation as I knew it would be, and I'm really excited for those in the chat with us to get to know you guys and see you a little bit. I want to ask you one last question about wisdom and truth, and one that maybe you're still learning to live into. It could be one you wish you had learned earlier, or it could be one that you're still learning to live into.
Mhm.
Mm.
I would say, um, not not like being selfish, but don't let anybody stop you from doing what you need to do in life.
Mm,
Don't put yourself first, I would say. And I'm still learning that too. I feel like in a lot of cases, a lot of people might let other people's emotions or how they feel stop them from doing what they need to do, or
mhm,
becoming a better person. So I would say be selfish.
mhm,
Do what you need to do because this is your life. At the end of the
mhm,
day, obviously respect other people's feelings to an extent, but if somebody's not doing what you need them to do, or y'all are not aligned, go ahead, leave them. Um, I would say, not like just
no, no, I got you.
disappear,
I know, I
not
got
like
you.
disappear, but like
No, no.
if you already communicated, like, hey, like I don't think we could be cool, we could be friends, or what I want to do in my life is not the same that you want to do, and this could range from family, relation, whatever. It's not just, one thing.
Mhm.
But I feel like be selfish because this is your life and you only have one life.
Yeah.
And you got to do what you need to do for yourself. And nobody else is going to stop and wait for you or hold your hand, especially at this age, like being a young adult or an adult. So,
Mhm. Yep, yep, yep. Yep, you want do what you wanna do, use the wisdom, use the filters, and understand, we all eat the fruit of our
mhm.
choices. And I know everybody wants to eat sweet, wonderful, juicy fruit. Sometimes you might have to get a sour one,
Yeah.
and it will
Mhm.
teach you some things about, how to sow and how to reap. But for the most part, we wanna eat sweet, wonderful fruit. So we have to own that and roll with that because it is our life. Yep. Jay taught me about that when the college thing came up, and I like, "Oh, you gotta go to college, go to college." He was like,
Mhm.
"That's not my thing. That's not what I wanna do." He
Mhm.
acquiesced and did a semester of music school and hated every day coming home. "Oh, I coulda taught that class. The professor did this. I don't understand that. They shouldn't have done that. Da, da, da. I coulda taught that." And finished that semester and said, "I'm not going back."
Mm-mm.
I'm not going back. And this when he was 18, he's like, "Do you want this diploma or do you want a Grammy? Which one of these 2 things do you want?" And I had to look check myself and say, "This is not my life. This is not my
Mhm.
path. This guy been doing music since he was 2 years old.
Yeah.
Why am I trying to squeeze that into some model or something in my head? It's his life." He was so adamant. He makes a statement, "Oh, I'll sleep on the curb. I'll sleep outside. I just live outside if I have to, because this is what I wanna do." And I'm thinking he has no clue what he's saying, but he was convinced that this is what he's gonna do come hell or high water. And here we are today. So
I know you see it back there. I got one of them taken down because
I know your gold and your platinums and stuff like that. I see it. I see it. Um, so Jake, okay, that's your thing. What piece of wisdom do you wish you had learned earlier, or that you're still kind of learning to lean into?
mm, I feel like I'm learning a lot of stuff, especially like, with what I do in my day to day and the people that I'm around that I'm very blessed to be around. But since there's like people in the chat, I'm gonna just say something that I think is like the most important thing that has led to me learning all this new stuff and
Mhm.
like being able to have the experiences that I want to have. I'm gonna say this right now: the law of attraction is the most important law there ever is. The
Okay. Oh.
manifestation is one of the most important things I
Yeah.
think
Mm.
when it
Mm.
comes to what you want to do. Of
Mhm.
course, God, you got to stay prayed up. But I think that's something that God had for us is that, like if you sit and meditate and think where you want to be and like imagine the places that you want to be and the stuff that you want to be doing as if it already exists, it
Mhm.
will happen. It is a law. It will happen.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I can tell you right now, before I had a Grammy, before I even had a song, I think I was doing this in high school, like imagining the people I wanted to work with. And like, mom, you've seen it so many times where I'm
Oh
like, "Man,
yeah.
I'm gonna work
Yeah.
with this person." And I like
Yes.
don't know them at all. I don't know anybody around them.
Yeah.
And it's like you end up being like one of the biggest songs on their album, or then you end up being friends with this person, or you like, even before we won the Grammy, like when we were working on the song, I knew it was a Grammy. I knew it was a
Mhm.
Grammy immediately. Like
Mm.
I remember me and my manager were just like, "Man, we gonna get a Grammy with this one. We gonna get a
Mm.
Grammy." And like, I know, like in passing, me and her, like we talk about it a lot now, but like back then, like when we would say that, I would really believe it, and I would meditate, and I would be like, "Man, what's the Grammy arena gonna smell like? What's it gonna
Mhm.
be like when I'm there? Like who am I gonna see? Like
Mhm.
I think, the more you
Mhm.
practice that, the stronger it becomes. It's like, I feel like I can
Right.
do anything. I feel like
Right.
I can
Right.
do
Right.
anything that I wanna do.
Right.
So,
Right.
you
Right.
know
Right. And this is not unique for any one person. All of us have that ability. That is how powerful we are, because belief matters, and thoughts, for me, are the currency of heaven. Thoughts are the currency of the kingdom of God, or however you want to put it in the vernacular that you learned it. Because when you think something, you believe something, you're gonna draw that into your life. It may not affect the person on your left or on your right. It's gonna affect you because how you think. And Jay has done this over and over and over again. When we were, just another short story, I think he maybe was 15, 16, something like that. He would say, "Why don't you guys move somewhere else and let me have this house?" And I'm thinking, is he is he okay? Is he okay? And then maybe a year later, he might be 17 or whatever, and he was really into the music, going to the sessions, going to things, doing music. And of course, he's trying to do music in the house and is loud, and he has a headphone and everything. He's like, you know what? Maybe you can go live somewhere else and let me have this house.
That sounds so bad.
Thinking, why is he saying that? But as the universe, and this is I learned from probably some of the books I've read, people I've listened to, that when you believe something, the universe conspires to go to work and bring it to you. And if the time is not right, it might take a little longer, but it is already in motion, working to bring that to you. And prayerfully, it works for your good, because we are gods, little gods, little goddesses. We are little gods of our world. As life will have it, Jay is in the house that we grew up in by
Mhm.
himself, living and been doing it since 2019.
Mhm.
When Brooke and I moved back to my dad's house to help take care of him before he left, and as the universe would have it, I met my now husband, lived with him. Jay, since 2019, has been at this house on
Yep.
his own. He might have a roommate here or there or whatever, but renovated everything. He's in that house. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is how that works. But again, you have that power. We all have that power. So your mind, your thoughts matter. Learning your true self matters. Listen, we're getting into the preaching side of this, and we're not gonna prolong that day. I so appreciate all of you in this room, and the comments you've made, and you're joining into this conversation and listening to this intergenerational talk before TikTok, after Burnett, and hopefully landing the importance of choice, that we choose wisdom, incorporate wisdom, put it in our day, and go toward, walk toward, look toward, sing toward, dream toward the life you want to live and what you want to experience. Thanks for listening to us. Thanks for listening to the double sons of my world. The Book of Burnett, I'll show it up here. January 31st
book.
is
Look.
Transmission Day. And you can get it anywhere now, pre-order, but I want us to get it on January 31st. It would have been my dad's 95th birthday, their grandfather's 95th birthday. And I want that to be how we celebrate this transmission. So on the 31st, I'm going to send the link that I want everybody to go to and buy. And we're just going to make it a beautiful transmission celebratory day, and everybody getting their thing up. All right, we're elevating and moving up together. I love you guys. This has been a wonderful conversation. Make it a great day, and I'll see you on the next one. Love you. Bye, guys. Bye.
Bye.